Okay, this is my HGLRC C1 Express LRS radio controller. And this is my favorite radio controller for doing things like gorilla ripping, where you want to get in and out someplace quick. Uh, it's similar to something like the Jumper T Lite, Jumper T Pro, or a Radio Master Pocket or Zorro. It does have twice the power of a Radio Master Pocket or Zorro, being 500 milliwatt instead of 250. Now this has three settings on it of high, low, and low, mid, and high power. Uh, High is 500 milliwatt. I think 250 is mid and 150 is low. So, but I made another quickie video on that, how to do that. You can go to it and see it. But this one is more about, I want to talk about why you should actually go into the firmware of this radio and set a passphrase to bind it. The binding of this radio, all the other reviewers only did the simple, easy binding of this radio. And that is to just push the bind button, turn it on, it'll start flashing white. That is the binding mode. I don't want to do it to my radio and have it come unbound from the way I have it with my drones now. So, but that way, sometimes you have to rebind it. It just comes unbound. Occasionally, randomly out of the blue, you go to plug in your drone and it doesn't connect. So then you have to go through the rebinding procedure, and it's just a pain. So I don't recommend doing that. Also, you're not supposed to fly with other people. I don't think you can fly with other people if you don't have it bound to your drone through passphrase. So it's not recommended because if somebody else is flying a similar signal, they're going to connect or something. I don't know. It might knock you out of the air or who knows what. So I highly recommend doing the binding phrase so that you are actually secure with your connection. And what you do to do this is you need to put the radio in Wi-Fi mode, which is super simple. You hit the set button and then you turn it on. Now you got a flashing green light. That's telling you you are in Wi-Fi mode. I'm going to turn it off, so I don't need to do it. But now you just leave that on, and then you go to your computer or whatever device you're setting it up with, and you need to turn off your internet connection that you're currently using. If you're on a device that's just using Wi-Fi, like a laptop or something, you just simply change it from your regular household Wi-Fi to the Wi-Fi on this, which is going to be called Express LRS TX. So then you connect to that, and it usually takes a minute, and Windows will pop up a little pop-up in the corner, and you just click on that, and it'll send you directly to the page on your browser that goes into the firmware, the ELRS firmware of this. So pretty much just like a receiver, you do the same thing with your receiver, other than instead of pushing the button on your receiver, you just let it sit there powered on for a minute, and it'll start flashing real fast. Normally, once they're flashing, you do want to wait a minute before, or you want to connect to them and wait for that pop-up, or let them sit there. The receivers, I notice sometimes they connect, then they disconnect, and they reconnect again. This doesn't do that. This, I basically connected right to it, and then I just use that little pop-up. If your little pop-up isn't working, if your settings are weird on your computer or something, you may have to go to the actual address once you're connected to it, which is that HPPT //10.0.0.1. And you can type that in. I may have got the HTTP wrong, backwards or something, but it's 10.0.0.1. It's the same as most of the Netgear routers. To log on the firmware of them, it'll open up a firmware page, And like I say, you just scroll down and you'll see the little bar where the passphrase is. You just type that in, and then you go down and you hit save. And you do that with your receiver, and you do that with this. And once they both have this, both are loaded with the correct passphrase. Now, when you open it up at the top of the page, it'll have the logo for Express LRS, and right under it, it'll tell you what version you have. You do need to have a version 3 and up of Express LRS on your receiver for this to work with that. But it's really more simple than what I'm making it sound. Sorry about that. You just simply put your device in Wi-Fi mode. The receiver takes time to go into Wi-Fi mode. This, you hold the button, the set button, turn it on, and it goes in with the green flashing light. Basically, if you got a fast flashing light with Express LRS, that means it's in Wi-Fi mode. The receiver is very, very fast. It just flickers. And then you connect to that device's Wi-Fi you connect to that Wi-Fi with your device, and then you go to a browser to the firmware page, enter the passphrase, and then hit save, and that device is ready to bind. You turn them off, just turn them back on. You always want to turn your radio on first, then plug in your drone. Your drone should connect to it. I think the light flashes slowly when you're not connected. No, I don't think it does. I forget. On the receiver, you'll get a solid light if you're connected to it. So, anyhow, that's how you connect this radio. Sorry it was long and maybe confusing. Hopefully this helps somebody.